The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is a book that is now considered a modern classic. It came out for the first time in 1951, and since then, many people have read and studied it. Holden Caulfield, a 16-year-old boy who has just been kicked out of his boarding school, tells the story. The story takes place over the course of a few days, while Holden walks around New York City trying to avoid his parents and dealing with feelings of isolation and disappointment. Holden is a complicated figure who does many different things. On the one hand, he is very smart and observant, and he can see through the fakery of the adult world. On the other hand, he has a lot of problems. He is depressed and has thoughts of killing himself. He's always looking for meaning in relationship in a world that doesn't seem to give him either. From the start of the book, it's clear that Holden is having a hard time. He got kicked out of his private school, Pensy Prep, and is now waiting for Christmas break to go home. He spends his last night at Pensy walking around campus and thinking about his life and what will happen next. He doesn't like school or life in general, and he doesn't feel close to his family or friends. Throughout the book, Holden's thoughts of being alone and disappointed come up again and again. In a world that seems fake and empty, he is always looking for something real and important. He is especially horrified by how fake the adult world is. He thinks it is corrupt and fake. He hates how adults try to control and influence children, and he is very angry and upset with them for being fake and not being honest. Holden meets a lot of different people in the book, and each of them reflects a different part of the adult world that he hates. He spends time with Sally Hayes, an old friend he thinks is shallow and fake. He also spends time with a prostitute and her pimp, and he has a unique experience with a teacher he used to like. One of the main ideas of the book is that Holden is obsessed with being innocent and wants to protect it. He thinks that children are the only clean and real people in the world, and he can't stand the idea that the adult world will corrupt them. His dream of being a catcher in the rye, a person who stands at the edge of a cliff and gets kids before they fall, shows this. He imagines himself standing in a field of rye and grabbing kids as they run toward the edge of a cliff. He thinks of himself as the Guardian of Innocence, and he is motivated to stop the adult world from making children bad. Holden's battle with mental sickness is another important theme in the book. He is in a lot of pain and is battling with depression and thoughts of killing himself. He can't stop thinking about Allie, his younger brother who died of leukemia many years ago. Holden was deeply affected by Allie's death, and he is having a hard time coming to terms with his own death. Holden's mental condition gets worse as the book goes on. He gets more and more angry and crazy, and his behavior gets more and more crazy. He spends the night in a hotel room where his paranoia and delusions get worse and worse. He thinks that a group of secret spies are watching him, and he starts to think that he is going crazy. In the end, Holden's trip in the book is a journey to find out more about himself. He is having a hard time finding his place in the world and is looking for something real and important. He wants to feel like he has a reason and a place in the world, and he is having a hard time accepting that he will die. In the end, Holden learns that he can't always keep people from doing bad things. He knows that when kids grow up, they will be influenced by the world of adults. He also knows that he can't stay in a world of perfect innocence forever and that he will eventually have to deal with the problems and difficulties of being an adult. Holden's journey is powerful and makes you think, and it has done so for generations of fans. The book has been studied and reviewed by many people, and it has become a modern classic. The way Salinger uses words and his skill at capturing the voice of a teenage boy make the book a literary masterpiece. One of the most interesting things about the book is how well Salinger catches Holden Caulfield's voice. The book is told from the first-person point of view, and Holden's unique slang and colloquialisms are used throughout. Salinger can write in the style of a teenage boy in a way that is both real and easy to understand. The book is also important for how it criticizes American society and culture. Holden is very critical of the values and attitudes he sees around him, and the fakery and dishonesty of the adult world bothers him a lot. He thinks the American dream is a fake and empty idea, and he has a lot of doubts about how success and material things are valued more than real human connections. Overall, The Catcher in the Rye is a strong and moving book that talks about being alone, being disappointed, and trying to find yourself. It's a book that readers have loved for a long time, and it's still taught in high school and college writing classes all over the world. The Catcher in the Rye is a classic piece of modern literature because Salinger was able to write in the voice of a young boy and criticize American society and culture so well.